uses the ribbon. And the ribbon, you can see it's structured the same way as other applications. You can see Excel, you can see Word. All the Microsoft Office works like this. Also, Revit does this, okay? Except SketchUp. SketchUp is just buttons, right? But this one has something that we call tabs, okay? And each tab has a series of tools that are contained in a panel. This panel is the build panel. So when you look at the build panel, you know that there's just tools that I want to use to build, right? What I don't have here is the tool that I'm gonna be using right now, okay? So the same works for all the different panels, right? When you see a little arrow underneath the panel, it tells you that there's something else right there. Same with this. These are tools, okay? Now, if you don't see what you want, which is what Joe has on his Apple, he does also have an Apple, it's the solids. And yeah, the way you work on Windows is different than the way you work on the native on the native Apple. Okay, with the Mac you have AutoCAD native for the Mac. Okay, so it looks different. So, but if you go right here and right click, you can see the tabs, more tabs. All the ones that are checked are the ones that you see up on the top. I want to bring the solids on, okay? Because I'm gonna use that a lot. If I can drag the tabs and put them wherever I want. I wanna put it at the end. Where did I put it? Oh, there you go, right? Right there, right? I can put it at the end. So this is mine, right? So this is going to emulate the push-pull, right? But first, I need to do the rectangle. So I'm gonna do a rectangle right here. If I use the snaps, which are here, you can control all the snaps that you want. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. But AutoCAD doesn't snap directly right there. You have to talk to AutoCAD, okay? And AutoCAD has this little thingy on the bottom, which is called the command prompt, right there. Let me pull that out so you can see it. Come on, baby. Ah, well, at the bottom. You get up and look at it, right? It's right here. It's called the command prompt. This is the interaction between you and AutoCAD. When you do Revit, also Revit on the very bottom right here, it tells you what to do. But very seldom, you can also type on Revit, but normally you don't. So right here, the machine is telling me, okay, you asked me to do a rectangle, now tell me where is the first point. I'm gonna choose the origin, which is 0, 0, right? And that's my origin right there. Now I'm gonna do exactly the same thing as SketchUp, except that here I'm gonna follow a little bit more of steps because I chose to do it this, right? So I'm gonna look for dimensions here. So I'm gonna tell the first dimension is gonna be 4 feet. That's what we say, right? 4 by 3?
Yeah.
4 feet. And the other one is gonna be 3 feet, right? So I have that rectangle right there, right? Now it's gonna be 3 foot high, right? So I'm gonna use my solids and I'm gonna use the push-pull SketchUp, but here it's called the extrude, right? Now, it is important that you look at the bottom, at the command prompt right here, because the command prompt tells you what to do. And this is for people who do not know how to use AutoCAD. I can just go on and on and on without looking at it, because I'm a user, right? So here it's telling me the object. So I have this one. So I'm gonna select it and enter, because AutoCAD will keep asking you select objects until you enter, because AutoCAD doesn't know how many objects you're gonna select. If it's just one, you select one and then enter. So now I have it right here, right? So I'm gonna bring it out to 3 feet, right? And those are 3 feet right there. What am I using here? I'm using the 0 layer, right? But at one point I won, because I will have layers for everything, right? So I have my basic box right there. Now, what I need to do here, I need to have the wheels. That's the next step, okay? So for the wheels, if I put a wheel here, and you did it, no, you did it correctly like that, right? So by me making a wheel, I'm gonna put a circle, right? I'm gonna put a circle right here, but I'm gonna activate my endpoint, which is this, right? So let's go and make circle here, and it's gonna go right there, right? So I can go with my circle. I'm gonna go 6 inches to be a 12 inch, It's asking me that, right? The way we did it was a little different.
Oh,
Okay?
for radio.
Okay, but I'm gonna do it in a different way. Now I'm gonna go back and use the extrude again. I'm gonna go back here and say recent input. It doesn't tell me that, but it's not a big deal, right? Because it's here, right? So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna extrude again, and I'm gonna select the circle, and I'm gonna enter, right? So how much do I want? We did 5 inches, right?
Yeah.
Let's do 4, right? Just to be a little different than yours, right? So I have the wheel, but look, where is the wheel? It's on the floor, right? I can rotate it and put it up, or I could have done from the very beginning, right? But I'm gonna rotate this, and the command that you use to this is called 3D rotate. You see, this is the issue. This is gonna be the issue that I don't see what I type. That's all right, right? So I'm gonna select this, and then it gives you all these different axes, which there are only 3. Let's do this one, right? Let's select this one and see. Look where it rotates, right? Let's do it again. So you have to choose the right one. Okay, and notice how it is, because it's not really perfect. But if I select the red one, then I know I can rotate it in a different way. You can do the whole thing at once and then rotate the card, okay? But that's not what we want. Why not? For one reason, because this is 3 feet and this is 4 feet. If I rotate it, still will be the same because this is 3 feet high. But instead, I want to build everything the way it is. So there's one command that I really like you to understand and master. You see this guy here, right? This is called the UCS, the User Coordinate System. You can change it. It's not a static right there. You can put it anywhere you want. So I'm gonna manipulate it and I'm gonna start making my wheels, okay? So I'm gonna change the UCS by typing UCS, or by going into the view here. You have all the UCS here. This is the 3, okay? So you can go and say UCS 3, right? This is gonna be my origin. This is gonna be my new X. I want you to read at the bottom, okay, what I'm doing this, and this is gonna be the Y. Now you can see the C towards me on this face, and you can see it here, right? Now I'm gonna do the circle again by right-clicking and doing circle right here, and the default is 6. I'm gonna enter that, and then I'm gonna go and extrude this again, right? And I'm gonna extrude it 4 inches, right? Now, let me look at the top, right there, right? I'm gonna move this. I need to move this guy. I need to move everything, right? Because this is my floor, and my wheel is within the floor. So how much do I have to move it, Joe? Up.
3 inches.
No, I think it's 6 because this is 12,
Oh, that's what.
right? So I'm gonna move everything, right? I'm gonna just move it like this. I'm gonna click right here, and I'm gonna say 6 inches. Now you can see it's there, right? Now, do I want my wheels here? No, I'm gonna move them also 6 inches inside, right? So they can be there. And the other one, I'm gonna put it exactly the same way, unless you want it differently, right? What command I'm gonna use here? The mirror command. Do you have that one in SketchUp? Yes, you do, but you probably never explored, right? So I'm gonna go into my home tab. Everything that you want to modify is here on the modify panel, okay? If I go here, this is my mirror. If I hold right there, it gives me an example of what it is. This is the tooltip, a quick tooltip, right? So I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna select on my wheel, and I'm gonna select the midpoint right there, and I'm just gonna drag it, and that's it, right? Now, let's take a look at it right there, right? I'm gonna show you a trick. If you press the shift key and press the wheel, you can rotate this, okay? You can see it right there. If I type hide, it will hide those wheels, right? If I type shade, it will do the same, right? Now, how can I find more choices here? Well, those choices that I'm talking about, they're here. But, this here, right? But you can access those by right-clicking while you are on 3D. You right-click and you select the 3D orbit. When you select the 3D orbit, then you can right click again and you can get a lot of stuff here. Right clicking is your alternate menu, okay? Let's look at this as an X-ray, okay? There you go, right? So now that I have this, what else do I need? I need the other wheels in the other side, right? So I'm gonna return to my original UCS, which is called the world. So I'm gonna type again, UCS, I'm gonna type W for the world, and then I'm gonna say planned, twice. Those are my wheels right there. Now I'm gonna mirror those wheels, correct? So I go back again and say mirror. Again, I select my two wheels, I select the midpoint, and I mirror those, right? Now let's take a look at those right there. That's the little car right there. Now you want the handles, right? Remember, this is 3 feet high. What am I looking out here? I'm looking at ergonomics. Who's gonna be pushing the car, right? You don't want that to be 4 feet or 5 feet for me. 5 feet, I'm gonna be like this dude pushing the car, right? So for this, we're gonna do the handle, okay? I'm gonna do a very simple handle, and then we're gonna do a little bit more complicated one, which it is the same principle, okay? I'm gonna go and make a P-line, a polyline, which is totally different than your lines, okay? And you will find those on the draw command. If I click on the line, you have the polyline. What is the difference between these ones? That there are segments of lines, but they are connected. Watch what I'm going to do here, okay? I'm gonna select the polyline, I'm gonna put a polyline here, and I'm gonna drag it right here. I'm gonna go 4 inches, right? And then I'm gonna go that way, I'm gonna go 3 feet, right? Because that's the distance. That's when you look at me, Joe, when I was talking to Jaime, is when I said, you know, you guys should know what you're doing, right? Because Marcela may not, but I will come over and ask you, what is the dimension for this? So for this, I know that I can go 3 feet, and it's gonna be 3 feet. It's not, it's 4 feet, you see that? So you have to do Control C, and then you just go 4 feet. So you have to remember that. And then the endpoint is gonna be, should be that one, okay, Control C, because it's not perfect right there. Okay. Well, it's not doing it. It's not doing it, but it should do it, right? So, let's do it, okay? I was doing it the wrong way. Okay, let's go back to the line, right? Let's do the polyline. Watch, okay? Polyline from this endpoint. Now, if I press the shift or the control key and I right click, I can get the snaps. Okay, so I'm gonna go from this endpoint. I'll go again, right? I'm gonna go 4 inches, Control C, 4 inches, right? And then I'm gonna go 4 feet. Oh, that's 3 feet, you see? I was right. I was just doing wrong. 3 feet, and then the endpoint right there, right? So now when I go right here, you were gonna ask something, right? It's at the bottom, right? It's not a big deal. Now, how thick you want that handle to be? 1 inch? About a half inch is too little, dude. A half inch is like, grab one of your fingers, you're gonna be pushing something like that. Now it has to be like 1 or 1.5, right? Let's do it 1.5, right? So you know, you can do many things. I'm just going to do one with one shot, right? So if I do one using this line here, my circle is gonna be out, right? So if I want 1.5 inch thickness, how much do I have to offset this to get that? I'm gonna do the circle, okay? The circle will go here, right? And in order for me to do this, I have to change my UCS, okay? Let me go in if I have it here. Okay, UCS, I'm gonna go and say 3. I'm gonna select that endpoint, okay, that endpoint, and then I'm gonna select that midpoint, and then I'm gonna select that, right? So I have that right there. Now I'm gonna do that circle, okay? We say how much?
1.5 inches. 1.5 inches.
Inch and a half, right? Which will be 3/4, 0.75. that will be half, right? The radius. Okay? So that's how much is gonna be out. So what do I need to do, right? So let me do Control C.
There's no like follow me tool in AutoCAD?
It is.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna try to show you right here, right? But I want you to do things perfectly, right? So here, I'm gonna offset this line 0.75. Inside, right? So now this should be where I need it, right? Now let's watch this, okay? Let me erase this, and let me go to the top again, right? Now let me go and change the UCS. Okay. Okay. So let me move this from this endpoint to this endpoint, right? Because that's the top. Do I need to move it down? Yes. Move P for previous. How much do I have to move it down? No. 3/4. 0.75. Okay? Because remember, I'm gonna put this on the center, right? So now if I go and do the circle right there, the center right there, it's gonna be 0.75, right? Boom, right? So it's exactly at the edge. Those are the little details, right? And yeah, is there a follow me tool? Yes, there is, right? So we're gonna use the extrude again, right? Let's see if I have it here. I don't have it here, but I'm gonna type it. Okay, I'm gonna go and say EXT for extrude, and I'm gonna enter right there, right? It's kind of like doing the same thing as I did before, but now I'm gonna do it a little different. I'm gonna select my circle, right? I'm gonna right click to enter, and I'm gonna right click, and I'm gonna say follow a path. That's the follow me tool, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna select the path, and there we go, right? Now, we can take a look at it right there, right? We can detail it more. This is just rudimentary, okay? Now, if I need to have this void inside the box, right?
Extrude again?
So I'm gonna make another rectangle, and I'm gonna make that rectangle from here. Look, okay, look where it's doing it, right? It's doing it like that because the UCS. You always have to realize where you are in the world. And in the world of AutoCAD is the UCS. So I'm gonna go to the UCS, to the world, and I'm gonna go and say plan again, right? So you can see it right here. Now you can have layers for a handle, layers for a wheels, and layers for a cart. And then on the face of the cart, then you can start putting your flower of life or whatever, right? Whatever you guys decide to do. Now, just realize that you can use the face also, or you can make a block with that face and start pulling and pushing some of the items that you have in your flower of life to give it a little texture, if that's the desire, or even inside, right? But that will be later on. So now let me go and do the rectangle on the top, okay? Now I'm doing it like this because I already know what's the dimension, right? I'm gonna offset it 1 inch. Okay, now you can see that, right? It normally doesn't let you do that because it always gets on the top. If I right click, notice that it's selected. I go to the basic modify tools and I go to the display order. I'm gonna send it to the back, okay? Now I'm able to select this, okay? Now, if you have layers, obviously you can hide it or freeze it, right? So I'm gonna offset again, and I'm gonna offset 1 inch, right? I'm gonna offset it inside, right there, right? If I want to make a box, boss, and that's for you, Joe, right there, right? I'm already gonna have 1 inch thickness on the outside, and I want 1 inch thickness on the bottom, right? How much do I have to extrude it and move it?
3.
3?
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
Is it 3 by 4?
Okay, let's look at the distance here. You use measure, right? I use distance, D-I-S-T. It makes it easier for me. I don't have to go and do 2 steps like you do, right? I'm gonna measure from the midpoint to the midpoint, that's 3 feet.
Also 2.
Okay, so those are just shortcuts for you, okay? So it's 3 feet, right? So if I want 1 inch thickness on the bottom, I'm not gonna do 3 feet.
2.
I'm gonna do 2 feet, 11 inches. Right? Simple math, dude. Okay, so let me go and move
Oh,
it.
1 inch.
Right? That's what I said. So I'm gonna go and extrude it. Right? I'm gonna do 2 feet, 11 inches.
Inches, yeah.
Boom, right? Now I'm gonna move it in. I'm gonna move it from this point to that point. So I have the 2 boxes right there, right? Now, if I use this guy here, the subtraction, you have more tools here than anything else. Look what it's going to do, okay? I'm gonna subtract. Okay, I'm gonna drag this a little bit more up so you guys can see what it asks you. If you have it the way it was like this, you're never gonna know what's going on, right? So if I go back again here, watch, okay? It tells you at the beginning, subtract solid, surface and regions to subtract from. What do I want to I want to subtract from this. I want to subtract this, right? And then I can go and say shape. It's a void. You tell me. Is it? Yes, it is, right? If you don't believe it, I can put one of the wheels inside. Right? So it's void. Now, do you want a lid for this? You may want to have that. You know, then here it becomes engineering. You know, there's a little card right there. What about if this card, it's a card, but then it turns into a display? So I'm just saying this, right? Maybe this falls out, or maybe the half of this falls out, and then you display whatever is inside, whatever, right? And you know that you need the lid on the top, right? So you can go and put the top, again, just like that, and even rotate it so you can see it like that, right? So this is pretty much what you are doing, right, Joe?
Yeah.
So that's what it is, right? If you want to do this in a curvature, you can do that too. If you want to do this kind of like in an angle, you can also do that, okay? All you have to do is rotate your path before you extrude, okay? And let me go and show you that. Let me do Control CC top again until we get to there.